Morning, Arsene. West Ham on Saturday. What's your latest team news, please?
We have a similar squad. Everybody should be available who played against Watford. Ramsey could join in because he had a good training session yesterday. And overall, Flamini is available as well. Wilshere and Rosicky will play on Friday night with the under-21. So overall, at the moment, we have just Chamberlain coming back and still in fitness. And Cazorla, who practice together. They should not be too far. So overall, the injury situation looks quite positive.
2 big wins in a row. The team seems to be re-energised. What do you put that down to?
Well, to a confidence gained by the quality of our games. I think our team play has improved in recent games, and our game is based on mobility, on speed, on technique, and we found a good balance recently in our games.
Are you reluctant to change what seems to be a winning formula?
I'm reluctant always to change what works.
And just on West Ham, the Leicester story seems to have overshadowed what they've achieved this season, but they've had an incredible campaign.
They had a very good campaign, but when you look at the quality of the players we have, individually they have a good midfield, they have good strikers, they are solid at the back, and I think the emergence of Payet gave them a lot, of creativity and efficiency. They have Kouyaté, Noble, Payet, Lanzini have a very strong midfield and good strikers. Wisako, so that makes them efficient. They have 50 points, and that's not a coincidence.
Arsene, hello. You just mentioned Dimitri Payet then. Where do you rank him in terms of Premier League players at the moment? How good is he? And is he a player that you've looked at seriously?
Yeah, many times. I know him for a long, long time. We played in Saint-Etienne. He was played a few years in Saint-Etienne, and we watched him many times. And I think he has all the attributes to be a top player, what he is in fact. But he's 29 years old already, and this season he has, I think, matured a lot because he has come back into the national team where he looked to be out. So that shows that he has been much more consistent. He had always top talent, always, but he had periods where he was a bit up and down. But this year he has been very consistent.
It's your last visit to Upton Park, the Boleyn Ground, call it what you will. Any special memories here? I know you've got a good record there, but do you have any particular memories of that ground?
Well, particular memories is games where, the cup game, for example, when I arrived, where West Ham had a very good side. We had Rio Ferdinand, Lampard, that period, Defoe, with very strong teams that we won just. So we could see that they had exceptionally young players, and it has always been a very intense game. And I respect a lot the fans at West Ham because they have been very consistent and very vocal always and very loyal.
Got to ask you about Jack Wilshere, the latest off-field incident. Have you spoken to him about it? Is it a concern or is it being blown out of proportion? What are your thoughts on it?
I've spoken to him. It looks to be taken out of proportion a little bit, and of course these are matters that we like to keep internal.
Understood that. And given that he's very close to coming back, I mean, is that where your focus is completely with?
Yeah, of course. And there was no training session the next day. He had an off day. You can as well accept that sometimes the players go out, and when they are free the next day, over the weekend. And overall, what is positive is that he works very, very hard, and the news look quite good. I think he will have a good test tomorrow night.
Alex Iwobi's form has been fantastic for you in recent games. He has been the subject of sort of contract speculation. Has he signed a new deal? What's the situation?
We are discussing it at the moment, yes, to extend him because he's here. I think he's a real Arsenal person because he's here since the age of 8. He has anyway 3 years left at the end of the season, you know, but we want, of course, to keep him here for longer. And overall, that's the positives in the last 2 months, how well and how quickly he emerged as being a player with a good impact.
He's opted for Nigeria, it would seem, internationally, which could put him at the Olympics in Rio and could impact on next season. I mean, is that a bit of a concern?
Yeah, you're right. But we have to respect his choice, you know. He had the choice between England and Nigeria. In the end, he chose Nigeria. Respect that with the possibility that he will go to Olympic Games, that he will go to the African Nations Cup and travel a bit more than he would have done here. But we have to respect that.
Can Leicester realistically still be caught?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
And why do you believe that?
Why not? You know, as long as mathematically it's possible, there's a strong possibility. And you look at the difficulty of the Premier League. They have been remarkably consistent, but every game is very, very tight. So that can go the other way as well.
Does it help your chase that the team immediately above you are your great rivals, which concentrates the mind fantastically, I guess, in terms of trying to finish?
You know, honestly, we know that we need nearly the perfect run. And we know as well that we do not only look in front of us, we look behind us as well, because we are chased by a group of teams who can make it very difficult for us. So we have just to focus on our performance and hope we finish in a very strong way. Okay,
just one last one for me, a transfer speculation story. Our colleagues in Germany have been reporting that the Mönchengladbach player Granit Xhaka has been linked with you. Is there any substance to that?
At the moment, no, we are not. We are starting to look at people who can strengthen our squad, but we are not on any particular case in a concrete way.
Arsene, do you think there's anything that the big clubs like yourself, Manchester United, Manchester City, could learn from the Leicester City experience?
Of course, but you know what do we learn from Leicester City is that what I knew for a long time, it was defend for a long time. It's not only down to the amount of money you spend, it's down to the quality of the players you bring in, and sometimes the opportunities are not necessarily always linked with the amount of money.
But presumably at the start of the season, you, like the rest of us, would never have thought that they would be up there as they are now.
Nobody would have predicted that, or only some Leicester fans maybe. And but if you look well, they finished very strong last season, you know, and they had already, and on top of that, they brought some players in who have given them something more, like N'Golo Kante, and he had a huge impact as well. We spoke about Payet. You could say with Payet, he's one of the players who had a big impact in this league.
How much have you missed Jack Wilshere this season? Do you ever wake up and think to yourself, what could have been?
Look, of course, it's difficult to put a percentage on that, but ideally, I would have loved to have him available for the whole season.
But when do you expect his first Premier League game?
I don't know, we have to see now. I am a bit cautious because of history, so let's not rush it too much, and let's see how he responds to the next game. He'll have a big part in the game tomorrow night, and hopefully he will come through well. So I'm a bit cautious with that.
Just the one. You said about a near perfect run for Arsenal in terms of.
I would have. I even could have cut the near out and said.
Just said perfect. I wondered if that was a note of caution because West Ham. Would you say that's the toughest in this final run in this one?
West Ham is a tough proposal, yes, away from home.
Arsene, you said you looked at Payet quite a few times. Why did you never take the plunge?
because we just spoke about Wilshere, similar type of players, you know. I had this kind of players, and we had no need. Historically, we had always a great number of creative players. We had Özil, Cazorla, Wilshere, Ramsey, were all offensive players. I forget a few, certainly. So we had the number.
And you mentioned Jack there. I mean, it's not the first time that he's attracted these kind of off-field headlines. How many warnings are you prepared to give him?
Look, this is a completely private matter for me. It's very difficult as well to speak about that because I don't know really what happened. You know as well that he can be provoked. It's not easy when you're well known today to go out anywhere without creating some provocations, you know. So I'm a bit cautious, and I think even if you're known, you have the right to go sometimes to go out.
I mean, he's such a great player when he's fit and firing. Do you have any concerns at all that he might not fulfil his potential?
No, at the moment I believe that he's a real football brain, Jack Wilshere. He loves football. The only thing that stands in his way is not he's very serious, very dedicated. I invite you to come in every day and watch him work. You will understand that he's very, very dedicated. The only thing that could stop him from having the career he can make is injuries, you know. But he had the history of his injuries, of course, is not has been bad recently. But I hope he can get rid of that, and when he will make the career he deserves.